What's up guys, it's in, it's gone, and today we'll be looking at some winners and losers after the first two rounds of the MLB draft. I know, with only 2 rounds, these winners and losers could change drastically with the next couple of rounds, but the vast majority of major league talent, especially quality big leaguers, come from these early rounds. Every year, we see teams reach for players, but also teams that grab excellent value, seeing where they are picking. However, the MLB draft is different, as reaching for a less talented player can also mean good, as it saves more signing bonus money for the later rounds, essentially making your future picks more valuable. Plus, with the inconsistency of the MLB draft, these winners and losers may not look the same 5 to 10 years from now, as a 10th round pick surprises everyone, or a first round pick burns out in the minor leagues. That's what makes doing these rankings interesting, as we can come back to this video a decade later and see what we got royally right and wrong. But before we get onto the video, could you guys please hit the like and subscribe button? Currently, only 3% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if y'all do, not only would it help me grow my channel, but I would also very much appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get onto the video. Although the Texas Rangers only had 1 pick in the first 80 picks, I believe that they made a very smart one considering their outlook over the next few years. For many people, it was a surprise that the Rangers drafted Kumar Rocker where they did, but it was a good one in that. When they drafted Kumar Rocker, they expect a player who can make the Major League squad this year, as well as provide a meaningful impact in the next year or two. They drafted someone on the same timetable as Jack Leiter, who reunites with his old Vanderbilt buddy. None of the players on the board would be able to contribute to a Major League squad soon, and especially not pitchers. With guys on the team like Corey Seager and Marcus Semien still in their prime, the Rangers must capitalize on this time zone and make a playoff push within the next year or so. Therefore, it is the best decision to draft Kumar Rocker due to his outlook over the next few years. Furthermore, with the new stadium opened, the Rangers would like to start it off right with some playoff success very soon. Just as I predicted in my mock draft, the Chicago White Sox, with a league-worst farm system, got the pitcher with possibly the highest upside in the entire draft in Noah Schultz. With great ride-or-die upside, he may elevate their farm system back to a lead role that they had before Eloy Jimenez and others graduated. Noah is a high school left-handed pitcher who stands out at 6'9" and draws comparisons to Randy Johnson. Like Randy Johnson, he throws a fastball and slider which darts across the plate when he's on. He needs to add more to his frame in order to draw more velocity, as it currently only sits in the low 90s. Furthermore, he has trouble with his command, which could only be correlated to his inconsistent delivery. But due to his incredibly large frame, he has the upside to be an elite guy, possibly like a left-handed Tyler Glasnow or Justin Verlander. With their second pick, they picked a safer pitcher in Peyton Pillette, who should be able to help the Major League squad within a few years and draws comparisons to Walker Buehler. For a team that needs long-term pitching, this is another smart pick for another good draft overall. I like the 2 Giants picks, and I feel like they are both extremely high risk, high reward. But the San Francisco Giants already have a top 10 farm system, so they can afford to get a little risky, as even if these 2 players don't turn out, they still have the prospects to create an overall good farm system. However, if these 2 prospects do turn out, the sky's the limit for them. With the last pick in the first round, they selected Reggie Crawford, a left-handed pitcher who would have gone in the top 10, if not the top 5, strictly due to his stuff if it weren't for his Tommy John surgery in May. However, with advances in medical technology, Tommy John may not be the death sentence that it once was, and the Giants get themselves an upper first-round talent with a late-round pick. Then, with their second-round pick, they selected left-handed pitcher Carson Whisenhunt, who was mocked to go in the first round, and definitely would have gone higher if it weren't for his suspension, causing him to miss the entire 2022 NCAA season. In conclusion, the Giants drafted 2 project left-handed pitchers who may have the potential to exceed way above expectations, while also having the farm system to take a risk like this. Like the Texas Rangers, the Philadelphia Phillies only had 1 pick in the early rounds, due to signing the likes of Nicholas Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber this offseason. Also like the Rangers, they nailed their one and only pick. With their first round pick at number 18 overall, the Philadelphia Phillies selected high school batter Justin Crawford, who may be the best athlete in the entire class with some elite speed. Although teams shouldn't really draft based on need due to the unpredictable nature of the draft, the Phillies need a center fielder badly, both in the short term and long term. And Justin Crawford already has the tools to be an elite center fielder defensively, to the likes of a player drafted 16 picks earlier, and Drew Jones. All Crawford needs to do is hone his bat to be the full package, but at only 18 years old, he has all the time in the world to do it. While it may be tempting for the Philadelphia Phillies management to call him up sooner rather than later, like in his age 19 or age 20 season, to help out the Major League squad defensively, the best long-term play here would be for him to develop slowly over the seasons, as he hasn't really seen good velocity while in high school. Our last winner here goes to the Minnesota Twins, who simply made very smart picks all around the board, and if they can sign them all, it can be a very good haul considering that they received some very high picks. With their first round pick, they took advantages of some surprises earlier in the round and capitalized by selecting the best college bat on the board in Brooks Lee out of Cal Poly. Brooks Lee is pretty MLB ready, as he's a middle infielder hitting .364 and slugging .651 in the Cape Cod League this summer. And what is also encouraging is the fact that he's using wooden bats, so the transition to professional ball will be smoother. The knock on Brooks Lee, though, is his fielding, as he's a below-average defender at shortstop. However, he does have the athletic enough ability to play a corner outfield position or second base in the big leagues. With the Twins in contention now, it makes sense that they would want someone who can make an impact 2 years from now, rather than a project like many other high school bats, such as Elijah Green. Then, with their second round pick, they were able to select Connor Prelip, who may have gone number 1 overall and was definitely the best pitcher on the board before his Tommy John surgery, which dropped him all the way to the second round. If he is able to go out and perform like he did in college after his injury, then the Twins have themselves a steal in the second round. Our first loser that we have comes from the Colorado Rockies, and I simply don't understand 2 of their 3 picks. With their first round pick, they selected probably the best pitcher on this draft in Gabriel Hughes out of Gonzaga, who currently sits in the mid to low 90s, but as he adds more strength to his frame, he can easily earn some more velocity as he sits in the high 90s and possibly touches triple digits with a slider and changeup. The good part about this pick is he will probably stay as a starter, unlike many other pitchers taken in the first round, as well as his repertoire and adjacent to Coors Field. A high velocity four-seamer slider combination should synergize well in Coors Field. That was the only good pick. However, with their next pick, they selected outfielder Sterling Thompson, who isn't that rangy, nor does he hit for that much power, meaning he can't track down gappers and may be a liability in the outfield, but doesn't make up for it with his bat. Their second round pick in Jackson Cox is also confusing, as he relies on a high spin rate curveball to get his outs, which may not break well in Coors Field due to the Magnus effect, and he may get lit up there. Our next loser comes from the Chicago Cubs, who made a questionable decision, to say the least, by selecting Cade Horton out of Oklahoma. The plus side is that he fits what the Cubs' plans are as a long-term starter with front-end potential, but the downside is that with the 7th pick, the Cubs could have gone with safer options or ones with higher upside. Undoubtedly, the Cubs selected Cade Horton due to his strong showing in the College Baseball World Series, and if it wasn't for that, he probably would have been a late first-round pick or even a second-round pick. However, with that run in the College World Series, a flash in the pan, or was it him finally showing his best stuff when the lights were the brightest? Well, it's not worth it to try to answer that question with the number 7 pick overall. Furthermore, pitching was never a strong point in this draft, and the Cubs could have gone with an elite college bat, like Brooks Lee. They did select Jackson Ferris in the second round, which is an extremely solid pick, but it would have made more sense if these 2 picks were even switched, and Jackson Ferris was drafted number 7 overall, and Cade Horton was drafted with their second round pick. I know, I'm doubting on the Rays, but simply looking at it from a fan perspective, I don't understand the picks that they were making. I'm 90% sure that this is going to blow up in my face, but right now I'm putting them as losers. With their first pick, they selected Xavier Isaac, a first baseman who can slug but has some weight management issues. This goes against the mold that many other Rays picks have made in the past few years that have given them so much success, as they previously drafted many middle infielder athletic players, and it's not like there weren't any left on the board, as a guy like Sal Stewart was drafted just 4 picks later. I can only see Xavier Isaac panning out to be a DH to the likes of Miguel Sano, and if all goes right and he keeps his weight under control while developing his tools in the minor leagues. Furthermore, with multiple picks in the 60s and 70s due to trades and compensation picks, they probably could have gotten him there and drafted a higher upside player with their first round pick. This is a cheap pick, but a draft loser here is the Los Angeles Dodgers, who had 1 pick in the first 80 slots at number 40. That's right, they lost their first round pick because they went over the competitive balance tax and were in fact the only team to do so. With their one and only pick, they selected catcher Dalton Rushing, who had a great NCAA season where he homered 23 times in 64 games, but has issues behind the plate. He throws out base runners at a rate well below average, and his framing isn't great by any means. However, with the introduction of robot umps very soon, the future of the catching position could change, as defensive first guys could be rendered obsolete, and the future could be guys like Dalton Rushing, who's carried by their bat overall. However, they do have Will Smith long term, so even drafting a catcher here seems questionable. Staying in LA, we have the Los Angeles Angels, who surprised many people by selecting shortstop Zach Needle out of Campbell. First of all, I think the Angels should have gone for a pitcher, as that's the long-term need, but I feel like this pick is serving the purpose of solving a short-term need by drafting a shortstop. This is shown by the very next pick being high school shortstop Jet Williams, a much better shortstop prospect in my opinion, but the thing is that he's a high school hitter, and the chances are he won't help out the team while Trout and Ohtani are still in their prime. This seems like a reach for a need that isn't even that big to begin with, and teams shouldn't draft on need based on the MLB draft due to the volatility of prospects. So overall, it's just a reach in general, making the LA Angels some losers. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below new video ideas. I'm thinking about doing a draft grades video where I grade like every team's overall draft once it's over. If you guys would like to see that, please hit the like button down below and subscribe if you're not already. Besides that, a lot of trade deadline videos are coming up, and especially with like guys, big names like Juan Soto possibly being open on the trade market. It's going to be fun to make that video. And then when the trade deadline is over, I'll make trade deadline grades and then focus on like this team breakdowns like what I did last year with the Cubs. For draft related stuff, I'm going to do like who are the best prospects in the 2023 MLB draft. So subscribe if you're not, so stay in tune for that. And besides that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.